Good morning, 7th standard. So, today our topic is on your chapter 2. So, first we will see an introduction about this lesson. So, in this, we will be looking what are the different kinds of motion. So, everything around us, either it should be stationary or it should be moving. So, we call them as rest and motion. If the object is in fixed position and is not moving with respect to its surrounding, you call that object to be in rest. But if at all the object is moving within a given time, then we term that object to be is in motion. Best example, you consider you're taking a chair and you're keeping in one place. For 3 or 4 days, you can see, unless and until no one touches it, the chair will be in its same position. It is not moving with respect to time. It's not changing its position in a given time. So, in that case, you call the chair is in rest. Now, consider any other thing, something which can move or crawl. You just take a cat and leave it in one place, you will find it will keep on changing its place, okay, with respect to time. So in that case, you call the object to be in motion. So an object is said to be in motion if it changes the position with time and with respect to its immediate surrounding. Okay, I should change my position with respect to my surrounding. For example, you're going to place a dog near to your door. So after some 2 minutes, you will find the dog is somewhere inside your house. So it has moved with respect to time as well as with respect to the door. So all these things you can infer about your motion. So here they have shown some of the pictures which shows the objects which are in motion. Now imagine about your football. Unless you kick a football, it will never move. Unless some force acts on it, it will not move. But you can think about these are like your living objects which can move by themselves. So motion means if rest means an object is supposed does not change its position with time and its immediate surrounding. A chair and a tree, if you keep it, it will be at the same point for a long time unless you go and disturb them. So this is called as your rest. And if it's going to change its position with respect to time and its immediate surrounding, you call them as your motion. So the next one is rest and motion are relative terms. So this we have already seen in your 6th standard. We'll just have a recap on them. So consider you're traveling inside a car, a person who is standing on a road. For that person, it seems you will be moving in a road along with the car, even though you are in a position of rest. He seems, okay, he feels that you're moving apart from him. So for him, you are in motion. Now you are inside the car, only the car is moving. So you feel you are in rest and you are trying to see the same person who is standing outside. So for you, you feel the person, the building, the trees, whatever you see, it's moving away from you. So you can term rest and motion are relative terms. Okay. So according to you, you will be in rest and all other things will be in motion with respect to you. That is with respect to our surroundings. But for the other person who is standing outside or observing us, for him, he will be in rest. All other objects will be in motion. So that is what we term as rest and motion are relative terms. So it is respect to your surrounding or to the observer. So the observer, if he is in motion, okay, he might feel all other things are in rest, but if he is in rest, he will feel all other things are in motion. So it's one of the important aspect which you have to understand right from now. So the next topic is types of motion. So we all know, yes or no? So you might see an object which is moving in a circular path, an object is moving in a straight line, an object is moving back and forth to the same direction. So all these things are different kinds of motion which we have to categorize. So the first one is your translatory motion. So if an object is going to cover equal displacement, okay, if it is going to cover equal distance in equal interval of time, then it is called as is your translatory motion. Same distance at same interval of time. So for every 5 minutes, I'm going to cover 10 meter. For every 5 minutes, I'm going to cover 100 meter. So in that case, I'm going in a translatory motion. Translatory motion means for every 1 minute or 5 minutes, you take any time. For every 5 minutes, if I'm going to cover 100 meters, for every 5 minutes or every 1 minute I'm going to cover 10 meters, then in that case it is called as your translatory motion. So here you can see some of the examples of a translatory motion: a car moving along a road, a ball rolling on a ground, a bullet, an athlete who is running on a track, a boy going down a slide. All these are examples of your translatory motion. Your translatory motion can also be further divided into two. So one is your rectilinear motion and the other one is your curvilinear motion. Yeah. So rectilinear motion means if it is going to go in a straight line, then it is rectilinear motion. So it is also the same if it is going to cover the same distance in equal intervals of time, but the path, okay, the direction is going to be a straight line. So that is your rectilinear motion. Best example, a rocket, firing a rocket or a bullet, all these will go in a straight line, and a man traveling his car or a bike in a straight road is an example of your rectilinear motion. The next one is curvilinear motion. If at all it is going to take a curved path, then it is called as your curvilinear motion. Don't confuse your curvilinear with circulatory. Okay, circulatory is entirely different, and curvilinear means it has to take a curved path. So you might be going in a train where you will observe when the train curves, you can feel you are also having a curved path. So, and if you're going in a bridge, a curved bridge, okay, so you'll all be going in a flyovers and all, and you'll be going in this round tunnels, all these. So where you will feel the path is getting curved, and that is the example of your curvilinear motion. Best example you will find when you're running in a curved track. You might see the runners or the athletes who run in a straight track as well as in a curved track. So if you are going in a curved track, you might feel they are going in a curvilinear motion. So all these are example of your curvilinear. So curvilinear means it should be curved. Rectilinear means it should be a straight line. So linear, the word linear means it is straight line. Similarly, curve, it means a curved path. So these are the examples of your translatory motion. So the next type of motion is a circulatory motion. Circulatory motion means the object is going to move in a circular path, but it will have a fixed point. So with that fixed point, it will start to move along a circular path. So if it is going to have a fixed path, which means it will have a circumference, okay, a path of it will have a fixed circumference in that case. So the motion of an object about a fixed point along the circumference of a circle without changing its position, it should not change its position, then it is called as your circulatory motion. So now think about a clock. Okay, the hands of the clock will keep on moving along the same position, yes or no? So 1 2 3, all these will be in the same position without any deviation. So this is an example of your circulatory motion. Similarly, your fan, you will find the blades of the fan will cross all points, okay, at equal distance and equal time. So the fan will not increase its speed. You can feel this is going to be the fans, the circumference. The circumference will not change like this, or it will not go below it. So that is a fixed distance since it is moving in a circular path. So whenever we calculate the circular, what we used to calculate in circular circles, we used to calculate the circumference. So in case of circular motion, it will move in the fixed point with the fixed circumference. It will move along that circumference only. It will not cross it, or it will won't come below it. So this is an example of your circulatory motion. The next one is oscillatory motion. So oscillatory means if you're going to go for a to and fro motion. Best example, you take a clock, okay, a simple pendulum or a clock, where you will find the hands of the clock. If you can go in olden days, you can see that kind of clock, they will go in a oscillation. So oscillation means it is going to and fro, coming back to the same point again and again. So this is called as your oscillatory motion, the motion of an object in which the object makes to and fro and about the mean position. It's called as your oscillatory motion. Now listen, the center point is called as is your mean position, and from here it will go to this point, it is called as your extreme position. Again it come back to the mean point, and again it go back to the extreme position, again back to the mean, extreme, mean, extreme, mean, extreme. So this is called as your oscillatory motion. Is it clear to you all? So you all understood what is an oscillatory motion. So oscillatory motion means it will have a center fixed point. So this point is called as your mean point. So from here it will go to its extreme point. So from extreme point it will come again to the mean point. From mean point it will go to the next extreme. So this is called as your oscillatory motion. So to and fro motion is called as your oscillatory motion. So this you can see in your some of your if you go to some amusement park and all, you can find these kinds of objects around them. And this is an example of your oscillatory motion. Next one is vibratory motion. Vibratory motion means you take a drum. If you beat on a drum, you can find the drum is actually vibrating. And the next one is your phone is also vibration. That is called as your vibratory motion. The motion of an object in which the object moves to and fro or back and forth in a fixed pattern. Okay, in a fixed pattern it is called as your vibratory motion. So example is something like your most of your stringed instruments, all these will come into vibratory motion. So you can see playing drums, playing sitar. So all your string instruments will produce sound because of the vibration. You take a normal string or a twine, tie it in one end and tie both the ends. Okay, you try to tie the both the ends, and if you plug them, you can find they will produce vibration. Similarly, you take a scale, fix at one end, and you try to beat with the other end, you will find the object is vibrating. So it is an example of your vibratory motion. So what will happen, it will actually go up and down. You can see the objects will move up and down, so that is called as your vibratory motion. So like this it will go, it is your example of your vibratory motion. So now you might get a doubt, what is the difference between vibratory motion and oscillation, because both are used the terminologies like to and fro. But in oscillatory, the entire object is going for to and fro motion. But in vibration, only the part of the objects will show vibration. So that is the difference between your vibratory motion and oscillatory. In oscillatory motion, the whole objects will go from to and fro. But in vibratory, a part of the objects will move to the to and fro, while the rest of the objects remain fixed. So that is the difference between your vibratory and oscillatory. The next one is your periodic motion. So periodic motion means something which used to repeat itself. Okay, something which is used to repeat itself in the equal intervals of time. So best example, your moon going around the earth and the earth which is going around the sun. All these are happening in a calculated time, yes or no? So they are not changing the time. So it will take with a fixed interval of time. So it is an example of your periodic motion. Next one is your sewing machine. You can find that all the stitches will happen with equal seconds. They will not change. If it is going to change, then your stitching pattern will keeps on changing. So this is an example of your periodic motion. Okay, in a regular interval of time, it is going to repeat again and again. Okay, if it is happening again and again, we call them as your periodic motion. So a pendulum, hands of the clock, yes or no, hands of the clock, though they are moving in circulatory, they are also repeating again and again. So it's kind of combined motion. You think about the hands of the clock. Hands of the clock are going in what motion? Circulatory. But every time they are coming the same path, yes or no, it is repeating. Therefore it is also a periodic motion. So objects will also have combined motions in them. Okay, they will take two motions with them. Next one is the motion of the earth, the heartbeat, a swing, and the needle of a sewing machine. All these are examples of your periodic motion. So go through these topics today, and we will look into the next topics by tomorrow.